Good morning or good afternoon, whatever time of day it is. I'm so happy you're here today. We have a wonderful story, and it's a funny title. It's called Jonah, the Backward Prophet. What does that mean? Jonah, the Backward Prophet. Well, Jonah makes some funny decisions, which we're going to talk about. Before we do, I would love for you to go and grab your modeling clay or Play-Doh, and I want you to make two things. I want you to make a plant, any kind of plant, and I want you to make a whale. And those two things are very important pieces of the story. So hit pause, go ahead and get your materials, and come on back, and we're going to tell the story of Jonah, the Backward Prophet. All right, here we go. So, as you see, unlike our last few times where we started our story in the desert, here we're starting our story on land. So here's our land, and there is a little bit of sea. So we've got some sea right here. So we've got dry land and we've got the sea. Now you might remember that prophets are people who are really, really close to God. They hear God. And today's story is about a prophet named Jonah. And Jonah heard from God, from the Lord, say to Jonah, "Arise, go to the city of Nineveh. It's a great city. Tell them they are bad and they need to change and become good." Now, we don't know what bad means. Perhaps a lot of these people were lying, or maybe they were hurting one another. But Jonah was instructed to go to Nineveh and tell them to change and be good people. Well, guess what Jonah did, this silly goose prophet? You know what he did? He turned and he went the other way. So we have Nineveh over here, the city of Nineveh. We have Jonah here, and he decided to get into a boat and head to another area away from Nineveh. In fact, he was heading to a place called Tarshish in Spain. Well, what was happening? We don't know what Jonah thought. But guess what? While on the boat, all of a sudden, a storm broke out, and there were waves and crashes all around everywhere. Well, guess what? All of the sailors started to pray to their gods. And they heard about this prophet Jonah, and they looked for him all over. Well, guess what? The captain found him, and you know where he was? Let me tell you. He was asleep in the bottom of the boat. What? We've got this storm going, waves crashing here and there. Jonah was asleep in the bottom of the boat. Oh boy, here we go. Let's get back to our story. So the waves are crashing, things are here, there, everywhere. They finally find Jonah and they say, "Jonah, where are you? We are praying. We need help." "Who do you pray to?" And Jonah said, "I pray to the one who created the sea and the dry land. I pray to the one God." Well, the sailors were afraid. They were scared. Jonah said, "Listen, if you want this storm to end, throw me in and the storm will stop." So the sailors all got together and said, "Okay, see ya." Choo. Jonah went into the sea. Guess what happened? The storm stopped. No more waves, no more crashing. All calm like a sheet of glass. Well, guess what happened? They all the sailors, started to pray to that one God that Jonah was praying to. The one God They believed in this new one God. But meanwhile, Jonah was sinking deeper and deeper into the sea. And after a while, guess what happened? A whale came up. A whale came up and ate Jonah. Ate Jonah, and Jonah went into the belly of the whale. For 3 days and 3 nights, Jonah was in that belly of the whale. But guess what happened? That whale started getting more and more sick to its stomach. Ooh. Well, guess what? That whale went to the shore, and you know what happened? All of a sudden, there was Jonah out of the belly of the whale. And now the Lord said a second time, arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and tell the people there that they are bad and they need to be good and change. Well, this time, Jonah got on that boat and went to Nineveh. There he went, and he told the people, friends, you've got to change. You can't be lying and hurting people. We've got to be better and do good. And that's what a prophet does. However, this funny prophet, Jonah, guess what happens next? Well, these people in Nineveh, all the people in this city, they did change and they did become good. In fact, they even started wearing sackcloths and ashes to say, we are so sorry for how we've been. Even the king and queen were sorry and they became good. So God did not destroy or hurt that city. But guess what? This funny Jonah, this backward prophet Jonah, he got angry. He was angry. He wanted God to destroy the city because they were bad, bad people. So then he went outside of the city and he sat on a hill and he sulked. You know what sulking looks like? I'm angry and I'm mad. That's what Jonah was doing. So guess what? God said, why are you angry, Jonah? And Jonah said, well, I don't know. I'm just mad. They all changed, but they were really bad. Well, then God gave Jonah a plant to sit next to and think about under the plant for a little bit of shade. But you know what? When the sun rose, God sent a worm, a little tiny worm, and the plant died. Just like that. Well, then Jonah grew angry about the plant. God said, why are you angry about the plant? And Jonah said, I'm angry. I'm angry enough to die. He thought maybe he'd get his way about Nineveh. But God said, you know, you pity the plant, but you didn't take care of it or do anything. You didn't even love it or cause it to grow. Why wouldn't I pity Nineveh and take care of that great city where more than 120,000 people were? And take care of it and nurture it and grow now that all these people have changed for the good. Jonah had to think about that after a while, what God had to say. And you know what happened? Perhaps what happened? Jonah grew in his heart some compassion and understanding because he listened to what God was saying. And God said, we need compassion and love for everyone. That's what you're about, Jonah. And you led so many people to me. Rock on. That's good stuff. Well, I can't wait to see what your plant looks like and what your whale looked like. Did you build a whale in a plant? And if so, could you have your parents send it to me? I would love to see it. And I hope that this week, as you move forward, you could grow some compassion in your heart, like Jonah, the backward prophet. He had to grow and learn and think. He expressed feelings like anger and excitement and sadness and joy. And I hope that this week you can be in touch with all those feelings, just like the prophet Jonah. We all have compassion in our hearts for one another. And during these days, we really need compassion in our hearts for one another. Take care and have a beautiful week.